Speaking of Metal Gear Solid, since we got a decent amount of time left in this podcast and only a few things left on my notes to talk about, so I could just go on this quick tangent. I was thinking not too long ago, I think like yesterday, about why Metal Gear Solid 5, like most people don't finish the game. Well, one, a lot of people say as a joke, like it's okay that you didn't finish the game because neither did Kojima. Kojima didn't finish the game. But also, I feel like, I don't know if it was because he didn't finish the game, but he's not perfect and he makes some mistakes. And I feel like he definitely made some with this game. Like as much as like the way Konami went about, splitting ways with Kojima was horrible, but the reason why I could understand, because he did spend a lot of money on this game just to never finish it. So, right. That makes sense. But like, why I feel like what hurts Metal Gear Solid 5 is the fact that it's pretty much open world. And here's the thing. I essentially asked a bunch of questions to myself, like, and it happened while I was watching the Game Maker's Toolkit video. The one that I watched 1,000 times about Breath of the Wild and how it's a true adventure game. I've talked to you about it before on this podcast. But a question that Mark Brown on there asked was like, what is the reason for having an open world? You have to ask that question when you give a game an open world. Why did you give it an open world? And I asked myself, so what is the reason for Metal Gear Solid 5 having an open world? And what it came down to was for there to be vehicles and, animals to ride like a horse. And
literally barely used the vehicle the entire, I used like my horse like twice.
That's what I'm getting at. The only good thing, the only thing that the open world is ever really I'm stuttering. The only thing that utilizes the open world in that game are the vehicles. And you barely use them. You ride the horse a lot, which sucks because you literally are just riding between just barren wasteland where there's absolutely nothing there except the odd outpost. Otherwise, it's empty. Why? So what was the point of the open world? I ask you. If there's literally nothing in the open world, then why is it there? I think that
I got the game recently.
I think that's what hurts it a lot.
In my opinion, it's a lot more than just that.
Oh, no, definitely. But for me, I think that's one of the biggest things that hurts it is because the open world is completely unnecessary. There is absolutely no reason for there to have been an open world in that game.
Yeah, the open world is completely empty.
In terms of because I say it all the time, Dishonored rivals it 100%, but I separate Dishonored because it's first person, and instead replace it with Last of Us Part 2 in terms of third person stealth gameplay. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is the pinnacle of all of the Metal Gear games in terms of stealth gameplay. The thing is, you're in this big open space and then you come to these very small pockets of areas where there are, like buildings, very small buildings. Instead of something like the king of level design, Dishonored, where they give you a kind of open world, but not really. They give you just enough space to where you could figure out so many different ways to tackle a situation, but it's also small enough to where you don't feel like you're going through stretches of just barren wasteland for no reason, like Metal Gear does. And I feel like that's where both The Last of Us and Dishonored, in terms of level design, completely outclasses Metal Gear Solid 5. Metal Gear Solid 5 doesn't come close to the level design of Dishonored or Last of Us Part 2. The level design in those two games are superb. And
what I really love about Dishonored, oh wait, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say that I feel like that's just one of the biggest problems with Metal Gear Solid 5 is the level design. It sucks.
Yeah, no, level design. Honestly, I feel like traversal and gunplay in that game are both really clunky. I don't have a lot of fun in that game.
Metal Gear definitely isn't made for the gunplay.
It's not, but like where
it could be better
is that it could be way better. But I feel like one of the problems with Metal Gear Solid 5, especially which ties into the open world, is the fact that because it's open world and because there's so much larger space as opposed to like actual level design and places to hide, there's
That
no real places to hide except for behind a box or behind a building. And like a
for
lot
me,
of the enemy positions mean that you're gonna get discovered. So it's gonna turn into a gunfight unless you're like
exactly.
literally Solid Snake like in real life. And like that's not so like if you're gonna have a game where like there's more opportunity to get caught than not, then the gunplay needs to be up there. But the gunplay in that game is also really bad. So
For me, I
the
feel like
question becomes, why am I playing the game?
in stealth games, when it comes to adding more space, you should either go more depth in the sense that there are more buildings you can go inside of, or verticality. Make things
I was
higher
just about to say verticality.
so that you can climb above people. It's either you go above people or you can go inside of things that nobody else will be able to see you within, or there are people inside and you have to sneak around. I feel like that's how you create more space in a stealth game rather than just going wide and open. Because then
Right.
what's the point of it being a stealth game if you're in an open field and someone's across the open field and you have to like get low and try and crawl through the desert and try to hide in a bush? It's like, bro, that's boring.
Right.
And like I agree, because the less, again, even if you're not into the game, just for the sake of the I don't know, we both got vaccinated. You got to come over here at some point, or got to go over to your house. You got to play just one level of The Last of Us and just experience the game,
Okay.
because the gunplay in The Last of Us is good. It's really good. You could go through that game just shooting people if you really want to.
I think I might, if I ever get that game, I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
If you there's this, I have to see some videos. There's this channel that just does because you could go to each individual like encounter in the menu after you go past a certain chapter. In the menu, you could just replay that specific encounter of enemies. And people will do that and try and perfect it and essentially do it as fast and as efficiently as they can. And when you watch those videos and see what the range of what you can do is, it is amazing. And Metal Gear
Metal Gear.
has the potential to do stuff like that. But yeah, moving on to the next thing. Went on a quick tangent about Metal Gear. That's definitely going to be one of the clips I pull out for next week, the week after next.